I have a confession. A few years ago, I decided I was going to learn how to code. I bought this massive textbook, set a strict daily schedule, and exactly 2 weeks later, that book was holding up a wobbly desk while I watched Netflix instead. Most of us have a drawer somewhere hiding a half-finished course, an abandoned guitar, or a stack of books we swore we'd finish but haven't touched in months. When we drop these projects, we usually blame our own intelligence. We tell ourselves we aren't wired for math or languages or music, and that some people are just born with a talent we don't have. But the reality is that traditional classrooms are often built for a one-size-fits-all experience. They focus on what to memorize, but rarely spend time on the specific mechanics you need to teach yourself something new once you're on your own. This is where Scott Young's book, Ultralearning, comes in. It's an intense, self-directed strategy for tackling hard skills in a fraction of the usual time. For me, it shifted the focus from the subject itself to the actual process of learning. I didn't try to use every single principle in the book at once. I just adopted 5 specific practical tools that changed how I approached my next project. Mastering the process of learning is a skill all its own. Once you understand these mechanics, the challenge of a new hobby or career skill becomes a lot more manageable. This is a structured framework of 9 principles for self-directed learning. The first step is to stop opening to Chapter 1 and hoping for the best. This icon represents Metalearning. It means taking the first 10% of your total project time to build a roadmap. You're identifying the specific concepts and facts you actually need to reach your goal. Instead of diving in, you spend a few days researching how others mastered the skill or finding the right curriculum. This prep work helps you avoid wandering aimlessly once you start the heavy lifting. But even with a map, you still have to deal with the 5-minute itch, that sudden urge to clean your room or grab a snack the moment you actually sit down to work. The focus principle is about acknowledging that urge to procrastinate without letting it rule your schedule. Ultralearners counter this by setting a strict 50-minute timer and putting their phone in another room. A clear map and a quiet desk are essential, but they only work if you move from reading about a skill to actually practicing it. That's where directness comes in. This principle states that you should learn by doing the actual activity in the context where you'll eventually use it. If your goal is to learn public speaking, you don't just watch videos of other speakers. You write a speech, stand in front of a group, and deliver it. When you practice directly, you'll find specific bottlenecks where you get stuck. The drill step is about isolating that single weak point and attacking it relentlessly. A musician does this by finding the hardest 10 seconds of a song and playing those few bars over and over until they are seamless, rather than just playing the easy parts they already know. Finally, we have to lock that progress in with retrieval, or self-testing. Reading a page 5 times creates a sense of familiarity that can be deceiving. It feels like you know the material, but you might just be recognizing the words on the page. Real retrieval happens when you close the book and force your brain to recall from scratch. This triggers what psychologists call desirable difficulty. The harder your brain works to reach for a fact, the deeper that knowledge is anchored. By moving away from passive reading and focusing on direct practice, drills, and active testing, you start building a level of mastery that sticks. Ultralearning isn't about burning yourself out. It's about being more efficient so you don't waste months on methods that don't produce results. The real payoff here is self-reliance. When you know how to build your own roadmap and verify your own progress, you're better equipped to adapt to a new career path or master a new craft on your own terms. I want you to try this out. Pick just one small skill this weekend that you've always wanted to learn. Draw a basic map, lock your phone in another room, and dive directly into the practice. Once you move past the standard lecture and test model and take charge of how you learn, the speed at which you pick up new skills starts to change. You might be surprised by what you can actually achieve.